welcome to Love Your Body, Love Your Life. My name is Jenna. I am the host of today's show. I'm also the author of the book titled Love Your Body, Love Your Life, 52 Tips That Will Radically Change Your Health. You can find my book on Amazon and on barnesandnoble.com. There's also a Kindle version, which is a little bit more convenient if you want, $3.99 for the Kindle. So I feel like I should say Happy New Year again, although I was live right after the holidays. So Happy New Year. If you're just joining me live after 2025, how is 2026 going? Yeah, it's already February. I can't believe it. How was your January? Mine has been pretty good, pretty busy. I've been just focusing on growing my community on Instagram at Jenna Lobos. I've been filming different videos for like content videos and lifestyle and all of that. So I'm really focusing on that this year and just trying to bring more valuable content and what I want to share this year on the podcast. So, yeah, as always, I welcome questions. I welcome engagement. Today, we're talking about 8 self-care tips for the month of February. I actually have 9 because when I was preparing for the show, this one just kind of came out. So I'll be talking about 9 self-care tips, and they may sound really obvious, these tips that I go through, but I'll explain to you why I pick them. Somewhere in the show, I'll explain to you why they probably will seem really simple and like I said, obvious to what we should be doing every day. But there is a rhythm and a reason to why I chose these tips to talk about. And I'm also going to be going over what I do in a daily routine. It always is helpful for me to hear what other people do. And it's not because I want to do exactly what they do, not at all. And that's not what I'm encouraging. I'm definitely encouraging everyone to figure out what works best for you, but maybe there's something that you could take away if I share what I do on a daily. So yeah, let's dive into it. These are tips that, like I said, they're really simple. They're just kind of like things that you can incorporate. I have tons of tips in my book. I have 52 of them. So that was really designed for a whole year. So this is just kind of 9 tips, like I said, to kickstart your year still, February. Everybody's talking about this year, the year of the fire horse. Apparently, it's supposed to move us forward in whatever we've been working towards these last couple years since 2020. So I really hope that that's true. I really hope, because I know for me, I've been really focusing on Love Your Body, Love Your Life, Jenna Lobos brand. And I just really hope that this year of the fire horse pushes me forward in a lot of areas of my life. So yeah, so hopefully these tips will help you move you forward in your wellness area of your life. So tip number one is drink more water. Simple, easy. I've talked about this several times on the show. If you're not a water drinker, I would definitely add lemon to your water, or lemon and a little bit of stevia. And there was one point where I remember during COVID, actually, where I know I needed to drink more water, but I wasn't working out as much because we were all cooped up in the house. But I was told to drink more water. So I started to drink coconut water. So I just wanted to add that in. If anybody is like, oh, I can't drink regular water all the time, then I would just do coconut water because it's super hydrating. And also warm water is really good. It's very good for digestive system. It soothes your body. Believe it or not, your body really doesn't like cold. It, I mean, unless you have a dosha, it's called dosha, where your organs run really hot, then I would suggest like lukewarm water. But I know for sure that cold, ice cold water, the organs don't really like that. So play around with it again, but definitely warm water I would suggest. So that's tip number one. Tip number two is drink less caffeine. Um, I love a good green tea. It's actually one of my favorite things to drink. And I love a good butter coffee, but I do not like, I'll have half. Like, I'll literally drink half of my green tea or half of my butter coffee. And this is after I've eaten breakfast or my meal for the day. Um, okay, so we did get a little comment, and I don't even know if that's if that's actually meant to be like honest comment or just like smart aleck comment, but we can put that up a little bit later, Rebel, and I'll say what he said. But I'll finish my so drink less caffeine. It's simple. If I would reduce it, notice that if you do drink less caffeine, notice the quality of your sleep, because I definitely notice that if I over caffeine for whatever reason, I'm pretty mindful about that. But I notice that if I drink like a green tea after 3, I'll definitely won't have as good of sleep. So check that. Tip number 3 is silent time. I know this could be really hard these days because everywhere we go, everywhere we're at, we're on our phones. Again, I'm literally on my phone all the time, doing whatever, texting, working, on a phone call. But I feel like it's really important to put down the phone and carve out silent time. And that could even be like putting it down and taking a class, or leaving it in your car and going to for a beach walk or even a walk, just to get out of the noise of social media or the news or whatever you tend to look at. Like, I am on Instagram, but I'm rarely on TikTok, because what I notice is that, and maybe this is just me, but I noticed that on TikTok, it's a lot noisier, at least in my head. There's a lot more video, there's a lot more people talking at you and talking their opinions, and it's just really important to be mindful of that. Just create some silent time so you could have your own original thoughts. And really listening to what your body needs versus somebody else telling you what to do in that moment. And again, I'll preface the show like, again, I'm sharing these tips, but I don't encourage you to do everything that I say. Take some that resonate and feel it out, try it for a week. So my point is just create silent time. A bubble bath is really good for that silent time. I love a good bubble bath with like Epsom salts, and just to be like, just silent the noise of the world and get into your own body. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4, clean your space. This is another really good tip for your mind. Keep your room tidy, keep your house as clean as possible. I know that everyone's busy and that things can pile up, the dishes could pile up, whatever it is, but try to be mindful of the space where you're at the most in your house and keep it really clean. I talked about this on actually January's show. I talked about creating a sacred space for yourself that you can come home to. Like, let's say you you live with people or somebody that is always in your space, I feel it's really important to have a sacred space in your house, even if that's like a little desk with your favorite photos on the desk, or um, some flowers or a candle or something that you love, you know. I remember one time my girlfriend, she gave me a purple pen, and she told me that writing in purple um, could just be like good luck, or I don't even remember what her theory was behind this purple pen, but it was fun and cool. And I kept that purple pen and I wrote with it for a little bit. So my point is just keep your space clean, create a sacred space for yourself, have something like a purple pen that's really that you appreciate, you know, for yourself, and just have that, you know, have that silent time and a space that is clear, that you could think clearer. And it really does make a difference. I mean, even I am a big I love clothes, so I have a tons of clothes, and I try my best to clean out my closet as much as I can, because my closet can be cluttery. And so that's just one area that I know that I need to spend time on, and just keep it really clean. So yeah, declutter. It'll help you declutter your mind. So, and I see that there's some chat, and I'll get to that in just a bit. After just I'll actually get to that after tip number 5, which is watch your thoughts. This is another really good tip for the mental body, is to watch your thoughts. Um, our thoughts are like a spinning fan. Think of that like a spinning fan. Our mind is always going and going and going and going and thinking and thinking and thinking about our day, about what happened yesterday, about the future, about the past, whatever we are, you know, just like we tend to have the same thoughts every day, and we ruminate on these same thoughts every day. And so my advice to you is really watch your thoughts that you have on a consistent basis, and kind of challenge them. Challenge them and ask them if they're really true and honest. So I'll give you an example. If somebody comes to you and, you know, maybe puts you down or tries to make you feel bad, and then you start like ruminating on that thought, like, huh, is that me? Is that who I really am? Or, you know, whatever they said to you, you start like kind of ruminating on it. I would say challenge it and just kind of ask, is that really true? And challenge the source of that thought. Who did it come from? You know, is that person reputable in your life? Is that person happy in their own life? Because a lot of the time it's projection and what they're feeling in their life. So you really need to watch your thoughts, because they're pretty powerful, you guys. They really are. We can manifest what we think about every day. And so we want to really choose loving and kind thoughts, especially about ourselves. So there are some things that I've learned that you can do. Like, let's say you have a negative thought, you can follow it up with cancel and delete. You can actually say that out loud, which is cancel, delete. I will not have that thought. And this takes time because, like I said, we're normally thinking about the same things every day. And it's kind of repetitious, and we have to kind of retrain our brain to be mindful of the thoughts that we're thinking, and to really notice that we're going down a rabbit hole of a negative thought or something, and just say cancel, delete. Don't want to have that thought anymore. So, yeah. And again, you don't have to believe every thought that you have. You really don't. You don't have to do that. So that's tip number 5. Yeah, I just wrote challenge your inner critic. So challenge your inner critic for sure. So Let's see. Becca had, did you say cut down or cut out caffeine? So Becca asked, did I say cut down or cut out? I didn't say cut out because I drink green tea or a little bit of coffee every other day. But if you can cut out caffeine, that would be the ultimate. Because believe it or not, caffeine can it can harm your energy versus give you more energy. I know it sounds like it's the other way around because caffeine gives you a jolt, but it really taxes your liver. It taxes your nervous system. If you're really like jolted all day long, that can really tax your nervous system. And we don't want that. We want to be calm and present and grounded in our body because then, like I was just saying, the mind can calm and ground and be more present in the body versus always in the thinking mind. And so it all plays into each other, right? So I'm talking about health and wellness and I'm giving you these tips, but they just all play into our mental body, our physical body, our emotional body. So I really appreciate the question, Becca, because I did not say cut out caffeine, but if that is something that you can do, then I definitely recommend it. And maybe it's just kind of I'll give up caffeine for, 2 weeks or a month and just feel the difference in your sleep quality, in the way you're thinking, if you're more grounded, if you feel more safe in your body, because that's huge. So I recommend that if you can cut it out, at least for maybe a month, a year, even, or 3 months a year, give yourself that break, then I think that would be ultimate. But if you can't cut it out, I understand. I would just say cut down. So thank you for the question. So yeah, I encourage questions. Please just answer, send me questions or comments. I really want this to be, as always, a group chat. So yeah. So number 6 on the tips is set boundaries. Ah, this is a big one. Okay. This is a big one. And I just wrote a whole blog on my website about boundaries. So if you want to check that blog out, it's at jennalobos.com. And it's about boundaries. And it's about the fact that I was tempted to break a boundary with a person about a month ago, I guess. And this is a person that I had a relationship with. And this person, it's been over a year now that this relationship has ended. And this person has continued to call me and call me and call me and call me. And there's always a reason why relationships end, right? So there's a reason why it ended. There's a reason why I didn't move forward with this relationship, even though there is a strong connection with this person. I know in my gut that Larry, I love that you guys are so invested in my personal story. I love you guys for that. Larry just asked, was it the ex? It was not the ex-husband. It was an ex-person that I dated. So thank you, Larry and Becca, for both being here and following me. I really appreciate you guys. I do. So, but it was not the ex-husband. So it was somebody else. And I found myself wanting to break a boundary and talk to this person. And forgive me, I'm human, like I haven't had any real like a connection with a male in over a year, something like I feel that I'm super attracted to, like I have a connection that I'm excited about. And so I think it's human. Like, this person reaches out after a year and you're like, damn, I wish I could really talk to this person, although I know it's not good for me. So, yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents on boundaries. Once you set them, you got to just keep them. You got to keep them. And they're hard. They're hard to keep. But let's see, Francis, was it the older guy? No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. I don't think I've talked about this relationship too much last year, you guys. I haven't really been open with this one. But maybe I will get the courage to open up a little bit. He was actually younger, I will tell you that. He was younger than me by 15 years, so kind of a lot. So it was a very fun, intense relationship, something that was hard to, you know, put a boundary down on, but there are major reasons why I had to do it, you guys. Major reasons, so yeah. Yeah. And that's a deep conversation, right? Because then it gets into, why did I attract this person? Why do I keep attracting the same type of person? And that gets into my childhood and the trauma and all that stuff. And I don't really want to go into that in this episode because I wanted to keep it really light and fun for Valentine's Day. It's February, the month of love, and I just wanted to keep it simple and fun and share some fun, like, simple tips with you guys. But I know you guys love the relationship stuff, so maybe next time I'll get it back into that, and I'm open to answering any questions, obviously. But my point here with the boundary one, this tip number 6, is that you really have to pay attention to who's draining your energy. Okay, who's draining your energy at the end of the day. I really want you guys to pay attention to how you feel after you leave somebody's company. You know how you feel in your body. Just, are you energized? Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Are you did this person affect your nervous system? Did they try to make you feel bad? Are they draining your energy? Because that's huge. And, maybe not in the first couple meetings, you might not be clear on how a person makes you feel, but eventually, if somebody's good for you or not. Okay. So just really be mindful of who you keep company with. And if it's people at work and you can't technically leave your situation at work, then come home and take a bubble bath, like I said, and create that sacred space for yourself. And, salt baths are really good to take the energy off your body and get it your own energy. And I'm just really big on energy, you guys, and your environment and who you're with, because at the end of the day, it is going to affect your life. Okay? It is. People in your life, whoever they are, they're going to affect you. And whatever they're going through is going to affect you. So you have to be really mindful of the people that you let in and the people that you surround yourself with. So you got to create those boundaries. Okay, so we're having some questions roll in. Becca, this is fun. I like this show. Yay, I'm glad. Thank you, Becca. Beth, is it possible to drain your own energy? How can you realize you are doing this to yourself, and what can you do to change it? Yeah, it is possible to drain your own energy. It goes back to getting into your feeling body. You have to really get into how you feel. What are you doing that are you overthinking? Because that could drain your energy. Are you burning the candle at both ends? Are you committing to too many things? Are you a yes person? Are you a people pleaser and you can't say no? That is one of my things that I continue to work on. You know, I've learned the whole like saying no to too many commitments. I'm really mindful of that. But when it comes to people, I tend to forgive easily. I tend to have a lot of empathy. And so I can see beyond their behaviors. And that's where I kind of get in trouble. And I've allowed like, energy vampires in my life to drain my own energy. So I've had to really keep those boundaries. So I'm answering this for Beth because obviously you're feeling some sort of energy drain in your life, and I'm trying to understand where that's coming from, if it's coming from your job, if it's coming from your relationships, if it's coming from your diet, your lifestyle, lack of sleep. So like I said, Beth, all of these things that I'm talking about and that I always talk about can pile up, so it is about taking inventory and being really honest with yourself and making those hard changes that in your gut that need to be taken care of. And some of the times they're scary, if I'm honest, because okay, my ex relationship, for example, when I got down to it, that was the biggest energy drain at one point in my life. So that was a scary realization because I knew in my gut that I had to leave this relationship. And it wasn't a boyfriend girlfriend situation, it was a marriage. But I had to get super brutally honest with myself and say, hey, I got to change this or else I'm going to keep going down this rabbit hole. And, I might get sick at the end of the day. I was already, like I've shared with you guys, was under 100 pounds or like right at 100 pounds. That was already like not healthy. So, okay. Beth, I think it could be bad choices people make and they need to try to do better. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So Beth wrote back in and said she thinks it's about bad choices that people make. Absolutely. So the other question that Beth said was, what can we do to change this? And I think I've been talking about this and I'm answering it, hopefully, is you really have to take inventory and you really have to be honest, brutally honest about the choices that you're making. And like I shared, sometimes these choices can be scary, the ones that you need to make, because they are ingrained, they're a part of our life, they're what we've been doing for years. Sometimes we don't even know how we get to places, right? We're so, like I said earlier, we're so on this, this mental ceiling fan that we're just going and going and going, that sometimes we don't even consciously know that we're creating something. And months later or years later, we find ourselves in a situation where we're like, how in the F did we get here? Right? How in the F did we get here? What happened? And so this is my point. My point is we have to slow down. We have to get very intentional because at the end of the day, we're the creators of our life. Your thoughts are powerful. Your choices are powerful. Who you surround yourself is powerful. What you eat every day is powerful. How you sleep. All of these lifestyle choices, they're going to lead you in a direction where I want you guys to look back and be like, heck yeah, I did the right thing for me. I made the hard decisions. I cut that person out of my life. I cut the caffeine out of my life. I cut whatever it is out of my life. I set the boundary. I drank my lemon water every single day. I got into bed at 9 p.m. every single day. I did all these things for myself. And now I look back and I'm in a great relationship, or I have a thriving business, or I have an amazing new creative endeavor that I've always wanted to do. And that's where I want you guys to be in 6 months to a year, or at the end of this year. So I hope that really answered your question, Beth. I don't know the choices that you have been making, but I wholeheartedly believe that if you get honest with yourself, take inventory, you know what you need to do, and get a mentor, talk to somebody, have support. You don't have to do it on your own. Have somebody that you talk to every day. Pick a friend that you're like, hey, when I want to pick up this cigarette or this, somebody wrote in earlier that they smoke pot. And I don't know if they were being like funny or trying to be like a jokester on the show, but hopefully they want to put that habit down. And so the reason why I say that is because if we have a bad habit, pick a friend or a mentor and be like, hey, if I want to smoke my cigarette or smoke my pot today, can I call you instead? Can you just be my like support system for 3 to 6 months? So anyways, I went on a tangent, you guys, but hopefully that answers Beth's question. Becca, does it have to be Epsom salt for these baths? Okay, no, it doesn't. What I've done in the past, Becca, when I'm out of Epsom salt, is I just take regular salt, and it could be table salt or pink salt, Himalayan salt from your kitchen. Pour that in your bath. It's amazing. You really could tell you sleep better. Another thing is, if you don't have a bath, you can put it on, take a shower and put it on a washcloth, the salt on a washcloth, and just, kind of scrub your body down with the salt and the warm water, and you're done. So yeah, I love the questions, you guys. Thank you so much. Keep them rolling. I love to hear your comments and where you're at, and your thoughts, and anything that you're feeling that I talk about, I encourage, because I try to be as open and honest as I can here on the show, because I want you to know that I've been through a lot, and I share what I know. So hopefully it helps. Okay, so this is a fun one. So number 7 is for Valentine's Day. I thought it would be fun tip to encourage you to indulge in some dark chocolate. I love a good piece of chocolate. It's actually healthy for you. Just try to get like a vegan or dairy-free, something that's low sugar, but enjoy some dark, healthy chocolate. It's actually, it'll give you some good endorphins. And I also wanted to share that I just did a brownie recipe for my community on Instagram. I did a brownie recipe, and I'll be sharing that video on my Instagram reel soon. But I also wrote a blog. So if you guys are into cooking, I have these raw brownies that I used to make years ago when I was a raw foodie, that I make, and they're literally 4 ingredients. So they're super healthy. They literally took me about 30 minutes to make. I have some non-dairy vegan frosting that I put on these raw brownies. So you guys can check that out on my website at jennalobos.com, the raw brownie recipe with the vegan frosting. That is so yummy. I love the brownies. And so Paul, do you feel like smoking weed is a bad thing for people? Oh my gosh. Here's what I'll say. I have been around people that smoke pot. Okay. I've been around, you guys know I sing. I've been around musicians. I was in a relationship with a pot smoker, if I'm honest. And I can understand how somebody would want to check out. I understand. life can be heavy, and sometimes we just want to take the edge off, right? But what I've noticed with people that smoke pot is that they can get lazy. Like, you're not on your game when you smoke pot. It's kind of like you get the F its, like, F it. I don't care. It's kind of like that attitude is what I've noticed. And so, to answer your question, Paul, obviously that's going to be a personal decision. I can't answer that question for you personally, but that's what I've noticed about people that smoke pot is that they tend to want to be really successful in life and want to achieve their goals or whatever it is. But the pot slows the brain down and it's almost like they give up and you get tired, easily. I'm talking about having a lot of energy here and you get tired. So, again, it's up to you and how your body reacts and what you want to achieve in life and what your goals are. But I know for me personally, if you guys can guess, it's not for me. Um, it's funny. I'll tell you a funny story about pot and myself. I've tried it twice in my whole life. And the first time I was really, really young, it was right out of high school. I never did it in high school, but my high school sweetheart, like right out of high school, he was experimenting with it. And I thought, okay, why not? And I got super sick after trying it. Like I was throwing up in the bathroom. It was not a good scene. I remember I had white jeans on and a yellow top. I'll never forget what I was wearing. It was like a butter yellow top and white jeans. And I thought I was cool and I wanted to try the pot. And I threw up all over my white jeans. It was not cute. So that was my first experience with pot. My second experience with pot was with my ex-husband because he was a big pot smoker. And we were at this hotel party. Um, and there were a lot of catty girls there and everybody was getting high. It was like an after party. We were partying all night. And then we went to this hotel room to like do the after party. And everybody was getting high. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so the outcast right now, right? Like I wanted to be in the in crowd. Like again, I'm human, right? And I wanted to be like cool. And so I told my ex-husband, okay, get me high. And he was like, are you sure? Because he knew like I don't do that. And I'm like, yeah. Just I want to try it. And so I did, and it had the total opposite effects on me. I was up all night. I was so nervous. I was not like mellow and like you see these pot smokers, they're super mellow and they're just like nothing bothers them and they're just like, in their zone. Oh no, not me. I was so hyper hyped up. I was like I felt like I did the other thing, right? Like everybody talks about coke. I've never done that, but everybody talks about doing coke and how they're wired and everything. That's how I felt. I'm like, was that laced or something? And he's like, no. And so, anyways, to answer Paul's question, weed is not for me. And I've noticed that people get lazy, they get the F-its, like, life doesn't matter type of thing, type of attitude. For me personally, I just shared what I've experienced. So that's never going to be my jam. But up to you guys, whatever you want to do. So, okay. So number 8 is eat breakfast. Eat breakfast. This might sound super like, okay, Jenna, we know we got to eat breakfast, but I just wanted to add it because a lot of people fast these days. A lot of we're talking about the wellness industry. We hear a lot about intermittent fasting, and I was a big intermittent fasting for a long time. I thought that I was doing the right thing, and I'm always up to trying something new in the wellness space. And what I've learned now is that if you're not eating regularly and you're not on like a regular pattern, and especially with breakfast, your body doesn't feel safe. It just starts feeling unsafe. And this ties into everything I've been talking about. We want to feel safe in our body, and food is a big part of that. We have to pick foods that make us feel nourished and safe. So I added this. Now, if anybody is not hungry in the morning, I get it. I'm not a big I sometimes I wake up and there's too many things on my mind. I have to journal, I have to do my thing to relax my mind, deep breath work, whatever. But sometimes I'm still not hungry. I don't have an appetite. So I'll make a smoothie, I'll drink warm milk or something just to tell my body like, okay, I'm nourished, I'm present, I'm here, I'm listening to you. And so that's number 8. Number 9 is journaling. And again, this goes back to getting honest with ourselves, hearing our own thoughts, being alone, being with ourselves in silent time, creating that space. You know, um, again, if you guys need some prompts for like deeper questions, I have journaling prompts and they're free. My blog is free and my journaling prompts are free on my website. I have my friend. Love this one. I often forget to eat breakfast. Thank you. That was my friend Jade. Shout out. Thank you so much. She's awesome. She always supports me and my podcast. So yes, eat breakfast. And so what I was saying is I have journaling prompts on my website at jennalobos.com. I also have great recipes if you guys want to check that out. I do have a smoothie. So talking about breakfast again, I have a smoothie on there. So if anybody wants to get that recipe. So yeah, yes. So what I'll say on the journaling is, pull out a journal, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes we just need to write, I don't know what to write. And that's it. It's really about training yourself to ultimately write 3 pages unedited journaling of free unedited thoughts. Nobody's going to read your journal. It's you and you alone. And that in itself, you guys, is a wellness tip, right? So, yeah. So the title of the show is 8 self-care tips, but I added the 9 because I think journaling is just super important. Again, I'm not perfect. I don't do it every day. I try to, and sometimes I get to the journal and I write just a couple sentences and then that was it. That was all I needed to hear from myself that day. But again, these tips are really, really like obvious and simple and kind of just like everyday tips. And the reason why I chose these is because it is all encompassing. And I think that's what I've been saying this whole show. It's everything that we do on a daily basis that compiles after time. Every day I know I'm going to wake up, I'm going to brush my teeth, drink my hot lemon and water, take a bath, and then I'm going to do a cold rinse after that because cold water is really good for circulation and getting the blood moving. And then I'm going to have breakfast. And then I'm going to wash out my face. So it's like this like wellness routine that I have down for myself is ingrained. Like I already know this is what I'm going to do. I already know that I'm going to exercise every day or every other day. I already know that I'm going to try to be in bed by 9 o'clock. These are the things that compile every single day. And I think at the end of the day, you guys, it really what it is, it's telling your body, I care. It's about creating a wellness routine that gets so ingrained in your daily that it basically is communicating to your body, I care. So, yeah, I hope you guys got some good takeaways. Care for your body. Think about who you want to surround yourself with, what you want to eat, what your wellness routine wants to look like. I didn't even get into my daily routine because we had so much engagement. So I'm really happy about that. I am so appreciate everybody that comes back and listens to me live. And yeah, I wish you a beautiful Valentine's Day. Lots of love in February, especially self-love. And until next time, love your body and love your life. Bye.